Sound check, sound check. Sound check, sound check. Sound check. Sound check. Good morning, Audit LA. Are you wishing to make general or multiple agenda item comment today?
Good morning. I'd like to do all of the above, please. Thank you.
Thank you. And which items are you speaking on for multiple?
All of them, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Jill. Jill, are you wishing to make general or multiple agenda item comment today?
Just general.
Thank you. Good morning, President Kang. We're ready to start whenever you are.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the regular scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for Monday, June 23rd, 2025. Ms. Matson, would you please take roll and establish quorum?
Yes, good morning, President and board members. I'm Elise Matson, Board of Public Works, taking roll in establishing quorum, noting it's 10 a.m. President Kang, Vice President Chavez, and President Pro Tem Grant are present, and we have a quorum. We're also joined by City Attorney Representative Thomas Costello-Vega. President Kang, we have 3 speakers on the Zoom platform today and no in-person public comment cards and no neighborhood council commentary.
Thank you very much. We will now start with general public comment, which is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items and will be provided up to 1 minute per person, up to a cumulative total of 10 minutes for the general public comment segment of each regular meeting. Testimony shall be limited in content to subject matters which are within the jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works, and the board may not take any action on any matters discussed during the public comment period. We will now transition to our virtual comment.
Thank you. First up, we have Audit LA. Audit LA, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Good morning. I'm here to talk about L. Ron Hubbard Way, of course, and the fact that slave labor, indentured servitude is no longer allowed. They have their people who are indentured servants fixing that street, cleaning the street, working on all their, the street stuff. That is illegal in California. If you're touching a street, you have to be paid a fair wage, and it's not happening. I'm doing more deeper research, and I'm learning that they got rid of even prisoner slave labor in California, and that they don't even recognize religious indentured servitude anymore. So there's a real big disconnect because it's still going on. And, eventually, like, I think they should tear up that brick street. They can relay it brick, I don't care, but it was laid by indentured servants. It needs to be laid by people being paid a fair wage. And I'm glad that we have a former union president on this commission because he understands completely, I am sure, that
Thank
it
you,
is
Audit
not
LA.
right to have
That's
indentured
time.
servitude in our streets.
Next up, we have Jill. Jill, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
I'm going to reiterate everything Audit LA had said about the slave labor. California, I thought they outlawed chain gangs. We don't have that anymore. I don't know what's going on. You guys got to get with the law and get with the program in enforcing laws. No religion, cult, group is above the law. They must follow the laws of the land and be held responsible, especially after they removed a toilet meant for 88 people that were in need when the permit was given for the Father's Day event that Audit had secured along with other people. So please do some soul searching. And it's wrong that bricks were laid down by child slave labor. You have kids. How would you feel? Would you want your kids doing that? I think not. Bye.
Thank you. Next, we have Gigi's phone. Gigi, are you wishing to make a general public comment?
Yes, please.
You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Okay, so same topic. That road, L. Ron Hubbard, was the bricks were laid in part by children, but also by indentured servants. And these indentured servants were actually forced to, after they laid the bricks, the money that they got, the $47 or $11, depending on what group they were in, they ended up having to spend that money on a book that from Scientology. They were forced to buy this book that was like 20 some dollars. So they get paid $47 for 100 hours of work, and they had to spend the majority of it. Or if they were the ones that only got $11, they had to spend more than 2 weeks worth of their wages on this book. So it's not just the indentured servitude part of the labor, but they're being forced to spend the money that they do get on whatever Scientology is telling them to buy. So just we need to look into them with their
Thank you.
slaves.
That's time.
Yeah, thank you.
President Kang, that's it for our general public comments.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close the general public comment portion of today's meeting and move on to multiple agenda item public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment period for up to a minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item. And please identify the items that you would like to speak on when you are called. We'll start with our virtual callers.
Thank you. First up, we have Audit LA. You indicated you wish to speak on all items. You have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, starting with number one, Hyperion. We've been following Hyperion, and my only concern with Hyperion is that I feel the city is trying to, make it really extravagant, and which is great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the idea of it being extravagant and beautiful and something that, kids can come to on their, visit on their school trips and, visitors and people we can learn about our water reclamation and everything. But right now we're in a huge, $1 billion budget crunch. And so I don't think that we should be spending any extra money or anything beyond what is absolutely necessary at this point. And so I'm not saying that this project isn't that. It's just a reminder that really for anything for the bells and whistles and everything extra, we really could try to get funding or donation. Say something like Disney or something, right? They could, put their name on something and then but contribute a lot of money to make it very, interesting and something that's an eye-catching, exciting, interactive place for the community. So I'm just suggesting you guys team up. It doesn't have to be Disney. It could be, anyone that's willing to team up, Universal, but like another entity that's, in this area. And I think it'd be great partnerships, not just getting money from the federal government or, government. Why not have these partnerships where they can invest and make things better? Number two, with street closure, I know it's not a permanent street closure like we've went through endlessly with Scientology, and I thank you that that has been decreasing, and the neighbors thank you profusely. But I'm just concerned because the city does have this. Like propensity to when you shut things down, not just to be, like you have to just be mindful of how it affects the community. So, make sure everything is doing, like basically it should be ahead of time, right? They should not rushing like where they do a bad job, but rushing with the mindset that you are conveniencing a area, a neighborhood, and it should be fixed as as quickly as possible. Um, when it comes to, let me see, I think number four, I'll go to the tiny homes and bids. Again, with any kind of bid, just a reminder that, and I know people, like at the beginning, they used to kind of give me eye rolls when I say, please, with these bids, make sure there's no labor trafficking, human trafficking, any kind. But we've been presenting long enough to let you know that there is a street where slave labor was built it, and continues to work on it. Absolutely today. Indentured servitude, but to me, that's the same thing. So with any of these bids, because, there's a lot of people who, it's not just Scientology and, it's other groups too, that they do have human trafficking. It's not, and human trafficking is not just sex
Thank
trafficking,
you.
it's
That's
labor
time.
trafficking. And please be mindful of that. Thank you.
President Kang, that's it for our general public comments and multiple comments, excuse me.
All right, thank you very much. With that, we will close the multiple item public comment portion of today's meeting, and we'll move forward with the approval of minutes for Friday, June 13th, 2025. Commissioners, any comments? Okay, with that, I'll move to approve the minutes for Friday, June 13th, 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Great, we'll take the roll beginning with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
All ayes and the minutes are adopted.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to item number 1 for Council District 11, revised task order for solicitation number 70, Black and Veatch Corporation.
Okay, good morning, Public Works Commissioners. My name is Aileen Miller. I'm a project manager.
Can you speak closer to the mic? Thank you very much.
I'm a project manager with the Bureau of Engineering's Environmental Engineering Division. Today, I'm requesting authorization to revise, to issue a revision to the task order number 70, which was awarded to Black and Veatch back in September 2024 to provide the design and technical support services for a new capital improvement project, which is the biotrickling filter facility located at the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant in El Segundo, Council District 11, which is owned and operated by Los Angeles Sanitation and Environment. This new facility will provide improved odor control for the primary treatment process to address not only El Segundo's residents' concerns, as well as the South Coast Air Quality Management District requirements. The revision to the task involves the substitution of the subconsultant Bays and Patel with VTA consulting engineers to provide the structural engineering support to the prime consultant, Black and Veatch. A little bit of background on this, the project is currently in 30% design and requires the structural engineering assessment in order to move forward in the design. In preparation, Black and Veatch contacted Bays and Patel and received no response to several phone calls, voicemails, and emails dating back to the end of September 2024. In March of this year, Black and Veatch contacted EED and requested authorization to substitute Black and Veatch or Bays and Patel with VTA engineering. VTA matches the business inclusion program credentials of Bays and Patel. Therefore, there are no changes to the participation levels with the substitution. Also, VTA agreed to provide the original scope of work for the same fee as Bays and Patel that was negotiated with Bays and Patel. Therefore, there's no changes to the total task budget authority of $3.5 million. For these reasons, I'm requesting the board to authorize the substitution of Bays and Patel with VTA Consulting Engineering in the task order number 70 with Black and Veatch to complete the project. Concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. Seeing that we don't have any single public comment, commissioners, any questions or comments? Quickly, do you know why BMP became non-responsive or any idea?
We weren't able to find that out because any attempt to contact them at all wasn't responded to.
Okay. Commissioners, is there a first and a second?
Second.
First by President Pro Tem Grant, seconded by Vice President Chavez.
Thank you. We'll take the roll beginning with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
All ayes, and the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 2 for Council District 14, request for authority, the 6th Street Viaduct, Parks, Arts, and River Connectivity Improvement Project at Santa Fe Street, Mission Road, Anderson Street, and Clarence Street.
Good morning. Sorry. Yes, hi, my name is Steve Fierce. I'm the principal architect with the Bureau of Engineering. And would like to make a couple of verbal corrections in this report when I go out through the presentation here. And the first one here is in the recommendation it says authorize a temporary full closure of the Clarence Street, Mission Road, Anderson Street, and Santa Fe Street. It should read Santa Fe Avenue. And that will carry on throughout the remainder of the report when referencing Santa Fe Avenue. On June 16th, the Board of Public Works awarded a contract to LAE to construct the 6th Street Viaduct Park Improvement Project. The construction contract was awarded to Los Angeles Engineering Inc., LAE, on June 16, 2023, and the total budget of the project is $62,658,000. That was the award amount. The current anticipated completion date is August 29th, 2026, and construction is currently 52% complete. The project will develop a new 12-acre park underneath and adjacent to the 6th Street Viaduct from Mateo Street on the west to the US 101 freeway to the east. The park project also includes roadway improvements at the intersections of Mateo Street, Santa Fe Avenue, Mission Road, Anderson Street, and Clarence Street. The traffic restoration and improvement plan encompasses the installation of new sidewalks, passenger loading zones, pedestrian ramps, driveway, continental crosswalks, speed tables, pedestrian activated beacons, standard curbs, gutters, pavement markings, and signage. The, to facilitate these improvements, a phased temporary full street closure is planned at Santa Fe Avenue, Mission Road, Anderson Street, and Clarence Street, during which the underground utility connections will also be completed. Implementing a full phased street closure for roadway improvements at these crossings is the most practical approach, as it allows for better traffic management while minimizing disruptions to the local businesses and surrounding community. I would like to make another verbal correction in the report regarding the schedule. So the revised dates for our schedule here, Clarence Street is June 23rd through August 3rd, and then Mission Road is August 4th through September 14th, and Anderson Street will be September 5th through October 26th, and Santa Fe Avenue is October 27th through December 21st. So during the construction at each intersection, the detour and access will be provided according to the WTCP approved by LADOT. Council District 14 has been briefed on the scope of the project and have expressed their support for the full closure. And additionally, Council District 14 has received confirmation that the access to local businesses and residents will be provided throughout the duration of the temporary closures. PSS has been informed of the requested closures and has raised no objection, and we have coordinated to ensure that there's no conflict or overlap of work. Regarding funding, there will be no increase to the construction costs for the implementation of this proposed closures. With that, that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments? One quick question. Do you I see that the duration of the closure is 6 weeks. Do you anticipate any extensions that you may request in the future or delays?
No, we don't. 6 weeks is the schedule. We're confident. We feel confident in that.
Okay. All right, Commissioners, I'll move to approve item number 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President Chavez.
Thank you. We'll take the roll, beginning with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
All ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 3 for all council district, request for proposals for sewer chemical root control treatment. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, good morning, members of the board and bureau representatives. My name is Dean Taylor. I'm an environmental engineering associate representing LA San and Environment, Clean Water Conveyance Division. I'm here to request authority to distribute a request for proposal and negotiate a contract for sewer chemical root control treatment by a state licensed contractor. The new contracts are being requested for a duration of 5 years with a total cost of $16,500,000 with an option to renew for an additional 2 years for a total of 7 years costing $23,100,000. To give some background, the city, as you might know, has over 6,700 miles of sewer pipe that serve over 4 million residential and commercial customers. Occasionally, we experience sewage spills, commonly known as sanitary sewer overflows, in the conveyance and treatment system. And these are in violation of the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit for these facilities and are prohibited by various federal and state governing regulatory requirements and codes. Sewer spills are mainly caused by mechanical failures, blockages from grease, tree root infestation, and debris buildup, and overtaxed systems during abnormally high flows. Of these causes, root infestation comprises about 60% of the spills in the collection system. Although the city has made key improvements to its operation, maintenance, and inspection programs, the current mechanical method of cleaning roots needs to be complemented with an aggressive chemical root treatment program to better address continuing root-related spills. On September 3rd, 2002, the city began such a program by executing personal service contracts with 2 chemical root treatment applicators. Since the inception of the program, we've noticed our spills go down by about 81%. Initially, there's about 320 root cause overflows in 2002, 2003. Last fiscal year, 23-24, there was only 40. And this fiscal year, there's only 22 root cause spills so far, estimated to be about 23 or 24. The current chemical root contract was executed on November 22nd, 2019, and expired on October 16th, 2024. So since that time, we've been doing individual purchase orders as needed, which significantly slows the process of payment and reduces the rate at which we can chemically treat the pipes. So with approval, LA San will seek qualified state licensed chemical root control applicators to apply chemical root treatment products to our pipes, to 400 miles of pipe per year of contract. So the recommendation is to authorize the director and general manager of the LA Sanitation Environment to distribute and advertise the transmitted request for proposal for sewer chemical root treatment or chemical root control, evaluate the proposals, and based on established rating criteria, select and interview the most qualified proposers, negotiate a contract with most qualified proposer, and return to the Board of Public Works for authority to award and execute any contracts subject to the mayor and city council approval prior to the contract execution. The execution of this contract will aid LA San in protecting the public health and environment by reducing and mitigating avoidable wastewater overflows and avoid, to the greatest extent possible, permit and regulatory violations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments? President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you for your report. Since the briefing, I've become somewhat restless about the 2 chemicals. They're going to be used, both metamsodium and with diclobinil.
Yeah.
So metasodium, there was a spill into rivers in the Midwest, 41 mile stretch of the river. All the fish were killed. 3 species of laboratory animals. The diclobinil caused cancer within it. Is it possible within the RFP to require updated sort of environmental testing of the areas around the spill so we could get some feedback if there's any sort of unintended horrible consequences of the application of this treatment?
Hi, Asia Jackson, Assistant Division Manager with Clean Water Conveyance. The chemicals that are used are a spray, so they stick to the sidewalls of the pipe.
Right.
In incidences that may occur with application, it may come back to a homeowner, and at that time they'll reach out to us, and we will take care of anything that happens in their homes, should it impact them. But that happens very rarely, and it's usually just the water because they use the Vactor truck to push the nozzle out to the home, and then they apply the chemical on the pullback through. So there is really no chemical interaction outside of the pipe.
But the pipe's within the ground, right?
Say that again?
The pipe is within the ground, right? It's underground.
Yes.
And then the house is on the ground. And the people live in the house.
Yes.
So what I'm worried about is it's very persistent, this chemical, is my reading of it, which is an amateurish reading, is very persistent. And to the extent that, in fact, it travels within the soil, we may not know the adverse consequences till much later. So what I'm asking for, is it possible within the RFP to have some periodic testing of the soil where this treatment has been applied?
We can take a look at it, but most of it is a spray foam, so it has a very short contact time. It would not go to soil, but we do have the MSDS sheets for the 2 chemicals, and we can provide those.
Right, but is it possible within the RFP to have the contractor provide us with periodic updates of testing the soil to make sure there are no adverse effects?
Yes, the contractor will provide with their invoices all their records from application and if anything has occurred in there.
That's not exactly what I'm asking for, not whether or not they made a mistake, but whether or not, even if they applied it correctly, whether or not there was an unintended adverse consequence. I mean, no one, when they put asbestos in roofing, assumed that there's a problem until years later when it was not the intention, but in fact it spread throughout. And that's what I'm worried in this instance, as to whether or not at least we can have some sense of monitoring, that we can say that we're aware of the dangers of it, that we're in fact monitoring it on a periodic basis to make sure that there are not going to be any adverse consequences.
We'll take a look, because I know soil testing really is not part of our
I
sphere,
understand that.
but we can have something in the contract that has that requirement.
Thank you, appreciate that.
All right, Commissioners, any other follow-up questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll move to approve item number 3. Is there a second? Seconded by Vice President Chavez.
Thank you. We'll take the roll. President King,
Aye.
Vice President Chavez,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
All ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith. And I'd just like to make a note that the previous item, item number 2, was approved as amended.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to our last item for today's agenda, item number 4 for Council District 2, contract award, the CD2 Tiny Home Village in Van Nuys Metrolink.
Good morning, members of the board and other.
Can you speak closer into the mic, please? Thank you very much.
Just a little bit better. Good morning, members of the board and other board representatives. My name is Adrian Huang. I'm with the Bureau of Engineering, Architectural Division. I'm here to present a board report to award a contract to Ford EC Incorporated for the CD2 Tiny Home Village Van Nuys Metrolink project. This project our recommendations are to award Ford for the contract in the amount of $3,971,100. We recommend that the board also authorize to execute the contract, and we recommend that the board request Ford to submit their bonds and insurance within 2 weeks. So some background information. Back in July 31st of 2020, the board approved a motion to query 17 contractors on the pre-qualified contractors list. And we were querying them to assess their ability on their design build experience and their construction experience for our tiny home villages and homeless projects. Out of that list, we created a short list of 7 contractors. This project will be our 15th tiny home village. And this project will be constructed in pursuant to ED 24, the Municipal Code, Section 12.8, and the Emergency Declaration. So this project will also be utilizing prefabricated homeless shelters. These are the same homeless shelters that we have used in our other 14 tiny home village projects. These prefabricated units will house up to 100 individuals. We'll also be using prefabricated units to provide offices, administrative offices, as well as hygiene facilities. Our site will also include another 8x40 prefabricated laundry facility, along with seating areas with umbrellas and hose bibs, along with a pet area and perimeter fencing. The tiny home village will be adjacent to a currently operational Bridge Home Shelter. During this time, we have communicated with the City Council, and we have identified a provider to operate the tiny home village. During the construction of the tiny home village, we will not be interrupting any of the Bridge Home facilities operations. So this project is not, we have determined that this project is statutorily exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act. Out of all the 7 bidders that we solicited this project to, we've only received 1 bid from Ford EC. This bid amount came out to be 15% higher than the city engineer's estimate. Now, although this estimate is 15% higher, we do have enough funds to cover the the higher amount through the emergency stabilization bed grant that comes from the state. That's the end of my report. I'll be taking any questions.
Commissioners, any questions or comments related to this item? One from me. I know you mentioned that we've only received a bid from Ford EC, but it seems like Ford tends to be the sole bidder for most of these projects.
Yes, they have been the sole bidder for the last couple of projects that we've had. In previous projects, we've had multiple bidders. I think the last one we had from Tiny Home Village 850 Mission, we had 3 bidders, CS Legacy and Access Pacific, along with Ford EC. Ford has done a lot of these Tiny Home Village projects in the past, and they've been pretty responsive and pretty good with these projects themselves. That's why they've been consistently bidding on all of our Tiny Home Village projects.
Do you anticipate that, as we build other tiny home villages, that we'll get more bids, or do you think it will kind of continue in this trend?
It may continue in this trend. We may, at some point, we may need to look into reestablishing pre-qualified on-call contractor list. But at this point in time, we do see that Ford may be the consistent bidder for other future homeless shelter projects.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments, commissioners?
I didn't hear the last part he said, but I just had an additional question. When was the last time that pre-qualified list was opened up for new contractors?
It's been the same list since 2020. We have not opened up the list since. Marina, I'd like to, if you could, 2020.
2020. And when is the next time that it's going to be reissued for additional interest?
I don't have the answer to that, but I can send you that answer via email, Commissioner Chavez.
Yeah, I think I'd like a report back on that. Just an analysis of that list, who's still interested, and maybe we need to open it up again because there might be new folks that are interested that are not on the list.
Okay.
And
All right.
a lot has changed since January of 2020.
Oh, go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. Marina Quinones, Bureau of Engineering. I know we briefed Commissioner Grant and Kang as well. Just for you, Commissioner Chavez, Stephen and I, principal architect for the architectural division, we've done quite a bit of outreach to the 7 contractors. We met with them to discuss why the lack of interest. And so we did learn from that, but unfortunately, yes, Ford has been consistently the one that has even the experience to deliver these within 180 days. But we will continue to do outreach, and as soon as that list can be renewed, I think we will go ahead and do that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Sure.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll move to approve item number 4. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you. We'll take the roll. President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
All ayes, and the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you very much. Ms. Mattson, does that clear our desk for today?
Yes, President, our desk has been cleared.
All right. Our next meeting will be on Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. The meeting is adjourned at 10:34 a.m.